There's a big creek running through our town. All the grown-ups say that's where my best friend, Chloe, drowned. I didn't know what drowned meant. Brianna, who's the smartest in our class, said it meant she'd suffocated in the water. I asked what suffocated meant, and she just rolled her eyes, annoyed with how slow I was. She said it meant I'd never see Chloe again. But they were wrong. Whenever I ride my bike past the creek, I see Chloe, 1 foot in the water, waving at me. She'd call for me to come in, and I'd tell her to come out. She'd always give in. We'd play hopscotch on the new blacktop the town just laid down. Wherever she stepped, a small puddle of water would form. But her shadow was gone. Standing in one of the chalk-drawn squares, I asked her, "Chloe, where's your shadow?" Chloe looked all around but couldn't find it. Huh. Where did my shadow go? I know. You probably left it at home again, I said. My mom says you're always losing things. Throwing your pencils and backpack everywhere. She tells me not to be like you. That made Chloe mad. Your mom's a gossip. You shouldn't be like her. My mom also says Chloe has no manners. But I decided not to tell her that part. The summer sun was brutal, and I was soon dripping with sweat. But Chloe was still soaking wet. Droplets of water ran down from her hair, past her chin, and collected in a puddle at her feet. Every time she hopped into a square, she'd leave a puddle, blurring the chalk lines until you couldn't see them. Finally, Chloe got tired of hopscotch. "What do you want to play now?" I asked. She got a mischievous look in her eye. "Let's play shadow tag." She must think I'm an idiot. She didn't have a shadow. People in town say I'm a little slow. But I'm not a complete moron. I could never win against her at shadow tag. "It's so hot," I yelled. "Chloe, want a popsicle?" Chloe pulled a soggy dollar bill from her pocket. I rummaged through my backpack and found $1. 2. Bomb pops were $2. So it was perfect. We both handed our money to Mr. Henderson at the corner store. But he only took my $1. "Hey, Mr. Henderson. Chloe wants a popsicle, too," I said. His hand twitched, and he gave me a really weird look. He told me to stop talking nonsense, or he'd tell my mom. I got scared. My mom could not find out I bought a popsicle. I grabbed Chloe's hand and we ran. Chloe watched me eat my bomb pop, her mouth watering as soon as I tore off the plastic wrapper. I took a bite, and my tongue turned blue. I wanted to see Chloe's tongue turn blue too. So I held it out to her. "Here. You can have a bite. Just one." She took a huge bite. I'm never sharing with her again. Suddenly, I heard my mom calling, "Danny! Danny!" I jumped, startled, and shoved the rest of the popsicle into Chloe's hand. It was getting dark, which meant my mom was home from work. When I could smell people cooking dinner, I knew she'd be calling me home. I went to get my bike. "Chloe, the popsicle's for you. I'm going home for dinner. You should go home, too. Your mom's been looking for you for a long time. A lot of people are looking for you. You're probably going to get in trouble." Chloe stood on the creek bank, nibbling the popsicle and waving at me. I gestured for her to wipe her mouth when she was done. Or she'd definitely get grounded. I wasn't really worried about Chloe getting in trouble. I was worried she'd rat me out. Her mom didn't let her eat popsicles either. Chloe had been sick when she was little and coughed all the time. The day she fell in the water, her cough was really bad. Scary bad. Her mom knows my mom. And if my mom found out, I'd be the one getting a whipping. My mom came out of the kitchen with a plate of Brussels sprouts. A plate of poison. Eating bitter greens in the summer heat is good for you, she said. What's with the long face? What are you up to? The thing I hated eating most was Brussels sprouts. Chloe hated them too. I told my mom that Chloe's mom never made her eat them. My mom's hand, holding her fork, paused for a second before she continued eating as if nothing happened. Don't be a picky eater. Chloe says everyone's a picky eater. Grown-ups just don't buy the food they don't like. So it looks like they aren't. My mom always said I wasn't as smart as Chloe. When I told her about Chloe's discovery, she put her fork down. Why are you talking about Chloe so much today? But I always talked about Chloe. What was so strange about it? Because I saw her today. Mom, I said. Chloe was wearing her blue shirt and jeans. But no shoes. We played hopscotch and hide-and-seek by the creek. And then we went to the corner store. Oh. I corrected myself. We didn't go to the corner store. Mom. Chloe's back. My mom said I used to talk nonsense when I was little. Every year. During the dog days of summer. She'd take me to see Old Lady Willow, who lived at the edge of town. She was the only one who could fix my nonsense. Once, I was picking peanuts in the field and giggled at a man walking by. He had an empty basket on his back and asked what I was laughing at. I told him there was a baby with a funny face in his basket. The man's face went from dark to pale. And he went and got my mom, which earned me a good spanking. My mom took me to see Old Lady Willow. Amid the smell of incense and burning herbs, she patted my head and made a grabbing motion in the air, as if she'd caught something. She poked me between my eyebrows. After that, I really did stop talking nonsense. My mom thought Old Lady Willow had cured me. The truth was, she had whispered to me when no one was looking. From now on, no matter what you see, don't say a word. If you do, your mom will tan your hide. You want that? Of course I didn't. She pinched my lips. Then you keep this little mouth shut. Even though I stopped talking nonsense, the townspeople still said I was a little slow. Brianna said. Slow means stupid. A moron. Brianna also said nobody wanted to play with a moron. She was wrong. Chloe wanted to play with me. My mom was happy about that. She said even though Chloe was forgetful and had no manners, she was a very good kid. But tonight, my mom was acting weird. My eyes darted around. I really didn't go to the corner store. I told Chloe not to go, but she wouldn't listen. I just watched her buy the popsicle from far away. I didn't have a single bite. My mom got even angrier and smacked my hand. The old fan creaked overhead. She didn't believe me again. She always did this. She grabbed her keys and started pulling me toward the door. We were going to see Old Lady Willow again. My mom forbade me from going near the creek. But I dreamed of Chloe. In a dream swirling with the scent of mosquito coils. Chloe sat by the creek. Her hair dripping. Her eyes just as wet. I can't go home, she said. Chloe had never cried before. In the haze of sleep, I called out to her. Chloe, my mom says you're a ghost. Are you a ghost? Chloe kicked a small pebble. Annoyed. You're the ghost. I mumbled. My mom said it. Not me. After a long pause. As the creek water rose around her, Chloe said, maybe I am a ghost. People turn into ghosts when they die. She analyzed her situation seriously. I'm always wet. I can't get too far from the creek. And I don't have a shadow. So I must be a water spirit. Chloe was the smartest. She knew everything. She was number one in our class. Mr. Anderson, our teacher, liked her the best. Now that Chloe was a water spirit, she couldn't go to school anymore. I still wanted to ask her, Chloe, now that you're a ghost, are we still best friends? Chloe said it depended. If she got mad at me, we wouldn't be. But if I bought her bomb pops, Gushers, M&Ms, and Milky Ways, I panicked and dug into my pockets, pulling out $1 and some change. I offered it to her with both hands. I was terrified Chloe wouldn't want to be my friend anymore. Then I wouldn't have any friends. Chloe didn't take my money. She stepped off the creek bank and onto the blacktop. But she couldn't make it to the edge of the town. Her body started to dissolve, melting like a popsicle into a puddle of water that flowed back to the creek. The water covered her calves. Chloe started to cry. I had to help her. But I couldn't think of a way. Who else could help? Brianna hated Chloe because Chloe always scored higher than her on tests. Even Mr. Anderson liked Chloe best. And Brianna was only his second favorite. I went to the corner store and used $0.25 to call Brianna on the payphone. Brianna, I said. I saw Chloe. She's a ghost and she can't get home. You have to help her. Brianna told me I was crazy. But she was the smartest person I knew. Besides Chloe. I begged her, promising to lend her all my Spider-Man comics. Brianna's mom didn't let her buy comics. Or any books that weren't for school. Brianna reluctantly agreed. The town hired a preacher to hold a service to help Chloe's soul pass on. The creek bank was crowded with people. A sea of white shirts. Someone was playing a guitar. Another a tambourine. The whole class was there. Even Brianna. I ran through the gaps between the adults to find her. The preacher's voice rang out, telling Chloe not to come back. To go toward the light. He mumbled a bunch of prayers. Chloe stood in the water. Drenched. No one could see her. Not even her own mom. Chloe's mom had brought sweet rolls, donuts, and cornbread. But they weren't for Chloe. They weren't for me. Either. She threw them all into the water for the fish. She said, Fish. You eat your fill so you don't eat Chloe's body. Don't give my little girl a hard time. Let her cross over peacefully. She told Chloe not to get distracted playing with the fish on her way. She told Chloe to look for a bridge to the other side. She said Jesus was waiting for her there. They all told Chloe not to look back. Chloe scratched her head, looking confused. She asked me, Hey, where am I supposed to be going? Brianna usually had a stern look. But today her eyes were puffy. I pulled her aside onto the embankment. Brianna couldn't see Chloe. She snapped at me. Danny. My mom said Chloe drowned. Drowned means she's never coming back. My dad helped search for the body for 3 days and they found nothing. You idiot. You keep going on and on about where Chloe is. I pointed. She's right there. To your right. Now she's behind you. Now she's pulling your hair. Brianna looked at me like I was a lunatic. Brianna, I said. Chloe wants to know if you've gotten to the chapter on train and tunnel problems in math yet. I continued. Brianna, Chloe's asking how you did on the last test. Since she's gone, did you finally get first place? Brianna, I said. Chloe wants to know if you've decided between Harvard or Yale yet. Brianna finally exploded. Chloe, are you nuts? She was yelling at Chloe. Not me. She believed me. Chloe sometimes wanted to go to Harvard. And other times Yale. Brianna wasn't conflicted. She didn't want to go to the same college as Chloe. She said she was going to Stanford. Huh. Where's Stanford? Brianna didn't like to waste time. She asked me why Chloe couldn't go home. I explained that if Chloe got too far from the creek, she'd melt like a popsicle. Brianna thought for a moment. Oh. So she's a water spirit. Brianna really was smart. She asked Chloe. Are you tied to the creek? Or to the creek water? I didn't understand the difference. But the water spirit version of Chloe's eyes lit up. She understood. Brianna went to the corner store and borrowed a wash basin from Mr. Henderson. She filled it to the brim with creek water and splashed it onto the blacktop. The water formed a small channel. Chloe stepped into it, taking tentative steps to the end, and made it into the village. Brianna, I said. Chloe says you're as smart as she is. Brianna blushed and turned away. Who'd want to be like her? So clumsy she falls into a creek. So dumb. I didn't really understand what clumsy meant. But I knew Brianna was wrong. Chloe wasn't dumb at all. She was so smart. I thought she was like Ben 10 from the cartoon. Ben was my hero. He always had a plan. When the hero fought the water monster and fell into the reservoir, Gwen would always save him. Brianna's family's basin was a fancy ceramic one. Mine was just plastic. They were both too small. Brianna and I ran experiments, lining up 4 or 5 basins, tipping them over one by one. The water would rush out. Run, Chloe. Run. We'd yell. Chloe would sprint. But she could only ever make it to Big Mike's front yard. Big Mike's beagle was the worst. It barked like crazy at anyone who came near. A mean dog. Big Mike's mom complained to my mom, telling her not to let us mess around in front of their house. My mom spanked me. Brianna had it worse. Her mom was super strict. Not only did she ground Brianna, but she also tore up all the comics I had lent her. I stood under her window waiting for her, getting bitten all over by mosquitoes. Finally, she pulled back the curtain. I looked up and called. Brianna. Brianna. Are we still going to the creek today? Brianna's eyes were swollen, and her right cheek was red. She called me a big idiot. She said she was done with Chloe. She said Chloe was just something I made up in my head. She said I was the one with the problem. And she was a moron for believing me. I kicked a pebble on my way home. I hadn't lied to her. Even Big Mike's beagle barked at Chloe when she passed by. How could she be my imagination? I tossed and turned on my bed, unable to sleep. My mom asked me what was wrong. I hugged her neck and mumbled, "Mom, why can't Chloe go to school with me anymore?" My mom thought for a long time before hugging me back. "Because Chloe passed away. Honey. Passed away means she died. And when people die, they leave us. They go to another world and don't come back." Mom. Why did Chloe have to die? Everyone dies. Danny. It's like how flowers wilt and the sun sets. It's a complete part of life. After Grandma passed away, you never saw her again. Right? So please, stop going to the creek to look for Chloe. I buried my face in my mom's shoulder and, for some reason, started to cry. I didn't want Chloe to die. I didn't want my mom to die. I didn't want Brianna to die. I didn't want Mr. Anderson to die. Mom. Why do people have to die? But my mom was wrong. The year after Grandma died, I did see her. She gave me a piece of cornbread and put a finger to her lips. That day, the old fan was broken. Mom was taking a nap. Grandma sat by the bed, fanning her with a magazine. Mom wasn't sweating, but tears were streaming down her face in her sleep. Then a white bird came. The bird took a bite of my cornbread and then carried Grandma away. I still had to go to the creek to find Chloe. While my mom was asleep, I snuck out of bed, grabbed my flip-flops, and slipped out the door. The moon was reflected in the creek, and Chloe was standing in it. I went into the water and took her hand. "Chloe, my mom says you're not coming back." "I know," Chloe said. But Chloe didn't know. We couldn't go to the new bookstore in the city together anymore. You've never even tried a star fruit. We can't go see the wisteria blossoms. Or watch the tide come in at the bay. Or eat the sweet rolls at the park. Chloe. We can't go to Harvard together. I felt like crying. What do I do? Chloe? Chloe said. Suck it up, Buttercup. The moon shattered in the wind, looking like a scrambled egg. Chloe stirred the moon fragments. Danny. I still want to go home. I had to get Chloe home. The chalkboard was covered with train and tunnel problems. Without Chloe, there was no one willing to explain it to me over and over. I couldn't get it. I rested my head on my desk, chewing on my straw, worried that the ceiling fan would fall and hit Big Mike on the head. After a while, I decided to just turn around and not look. If it falls, it falls. I asked my deskmate. Lily, do you have any basins at home? For washing your face, your feet, your whole body? I counted on my fingers. Lily's family had 5 basins. My family had 3. I asked Big Mike, who sat in front of me. He said he had buckets. He asked what I needed them for. I need lots and lots of basins. I said. If we fill them with creek water, we can get Chloe home. Lily burst out laughing. Big Mike said I was having one of my episodes again. Chloe drowned. There was no Chloe. None of them believed me. Until Brianna rolled her eyes at them. She flipped the pages of her book loudly. I ducked my head, trying to hide in my desk. Then I heard Brianna say, "What are you laughing at? Danny's not lying. I've seen Chloe, too." The kids around me were stunned. I was stunned. Now that Brianna was backing me up, they all believed me. They wanted to see Chloe, too. Even Mr. Anderson wanted to come. Mr. Anderson was always getting involved in our business. He was our English teacher and always said, "The best stories come from real life." On Thursdays, during our 2-period creative writing block, he loved to read my essays aloud. He'd say, "Danny's essay." While not exactly on topic, with its messy handwriting, frequent paragraph breaks, and slightly inaccurate vocabulary, shows a truly rich and interesting imagination. We can all learn from it. My mom was always trying to set Mr. Anderson up on a date, so he was terrified of her. But we all really liked him, so we made a plan. On Sunday, we would all go to the creek together. Everyone would bring their own basin to help bring Chloe home. Brianna said she couldn't come. Her mom wouldn't let her out on the weekends, especially not to play with a slow-witted boy. On Sunday, I walked past Brianna's building. Her curtains were drawn, but she was peeking through a crack. "Brianna, stop looking. Just come with us," I said. Brianna said her mom had locked the door and she couldn't get out. I held my basin and scratched my head. Brianna always listened to her mom. Her mom wanted her to be number one, so Brianna had to be number one. Chloe was always number one, so Brianna could never be. And then Brianna would get in trouble. That's why she hated Chloe. I held up my basin and said goodbye to her. "Brianna, you don't have to hate Chloe anymore. She's not going to take first place from you ever again." Brianna didn't roll her eyes at me. She called out, "Danny." A basin fell from Brianna's windowsill. She pushed open the window, put her shoe on the ledge, and leaped. My jaw dropped. My eyes went wide. Brianna wasn't listening to her mom anymore. There were 23 kids in our class, with Mr. Anderson. That made 24. We marched in a long line, carrying our water, and gathered at the edge of town before heading to the creek to find Chloe. We were so loud that even the big beagle didn't dare to bark. Mr. Henderson from the corner store poked his head out to watch us. We stood by the water and yelled, "Chloe, where are you?"